हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, राणा अकॅडमी या यूट्यूब चॅनलवरती आपणा सर्वांचं स्वागत आहे. आपण स्टार्ट केली आहे महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्ड सिलेबस बायोलॉजीची सिरीज, ज्यामध्ये आपण आतापर्यंत 11th क्लास बायोलॉजी 9th चॅप्टरपर्यंत कवरअप केली आहे. हा आहे 10th चॅप्टर ॲनिमल टिश्यू ऑफ ॲनिमल टिश्यू. 10th चॅप्टर आहे आपला महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा बायोलॉजीचा. तर या अगोदर आपण महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा सिलेबस एका पर्टिक्युलर व्हिडिओमध्ये कवरअप केला. जर तुम्ही आमच्या चॅनलवरती नवीन आला असाल तर तुम्ही प्लीज या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करून ठेवा, जेणेकरून आमचे सर्व अपलोडेड व्हिडिओ तुम्हाला पाहायला भेटतील. इथून पुढे आणि पाठीमागचे पण पाहायला भेटतील आमच्या यूट्यूब चॅनलवरती. चला तर मग तुम्ही प्लीज सबस्क्राईब करून ठेवा या चॅनलला. चला नंतर पाहूया. रीना सोलंकी या नावाने एक अकाउंट नंबर आहे. जर तुम्हाला आम्हाला काही मदत करावीशी वाटत असेल तर प्लीज या अकाउंट नंबरवरती तुम्ही आम्हाला डोनेशन देऊ शकता. चला तर मग अकाउंट नंबर सांगते. 032910122131 IFSC कोड IPOS 00000001. तर ह्या अकाउंट नंबरवरती तुम्ही आम्हाला काही देणगी द्यावीशी वाटत असेल तर तुम्ही देऊ शकता. आमच्या चॅनलला यूट्यूब चॅनलला राणा अकॅडमी या यूट्यूब चॅनलला तुम्हाला काही देणगी द्यावीशी वाटत असेल तर प्लीज तुम्ही ह्या अकाउंट नंबरवर ते पाठवू शकता. चला तर मग नंतर पाहूया. आता व्हिडिओला सुरुवात करूया. ॲनिमल टिश्यू 10वा चॅप्टर आहे. 11th क्लासची बायोलॉजी सिरीज स्टार्ट केली आहे महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डची. त्यामध्ये आपण 9वा चॅप्टरपर्यंत कवरअप केला आहे. आता आपण पाहणार आहोत 10वा चॅप्टर ॲनिमल टिश्यू. तुम्ही जर आमच्या चॅनलवरती नवीन आला असाल तर प्लीज या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करून ठेवा. चला तर मग व्हिडिओला सुरुवात करूया. ॲज वी नो, टिश्यू इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ सेल्स हॅविंग सेम embryonic origin, structure and function. Various tissues combine together in an orderly manner to form large functional unit called organs. These organs combine together and form organ system. The cells are of two types, somatic cells and germ cells. The word somatic is derived from the Greek word soma, means body. All body cells of an organism except sperm and ova are somatic cells. The sperm and ova are germ cells. They belong to reproductive system. Histology. The study of the structure and arrangement of tissue is called histology. There are 4 types of tissues present in animals, namely epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. Let us study each type in details. Epithelial tissue, above layer of cells. Epithelial tissue forms a covering on inner and outer surface of body and organs. The cells of this tissue are compactly arranged with little intercellular matrix. Cells rest on a non-cellular basement membrane. Cells are polygonal, cuboidal or columnar in shape. Single nucleus is present at the center or at the base. This tissue is avascular. It has good capacity of regeneration. Major function is protection, and it also helps in absorption, transport, filtration and secretion. Epithelial tissue is classified into 2 types: simple epithelium, compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is made up of single layer of cells. Compound epithelium is made up of 2 or more layers of cells. Lowermost layer lies on basement membrane. A simple epithelium. Squamous epithelium tissue. Cells of this tissue are flat, thin, polygonal with serrated margin. Cells of this tissue fit together like epithelium. Prominent spherical or oval nucleus is present at the center of cell function, protection, absorption, transport, filtration, secretion. It is found in blood vessels, alveoli, column, coelom, etc. Figure 10.1. Squamous epithelium tissue. Cuboidal epithelium. In this, the cells are cuboidal in shape. Cells are cuboidal in shape with a spherical nucleus at the center. Function, absorption, secretion. It is found in lining of pancreatic duct, salivary duct, proximal and distal convoluted tubules of nephron. Figure 10.2 cuboidal epithelium. Columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium cells are tall, pillar like. The inner ends of the cells are narrow, while the free ends are broad and flat. Free surface shows large number of microvilli. The nucleus is oval and is present in the lower half of the cell. Function, secretion, absorption. It is found in inner lining of intestine, gallbladder, gastric glands, interstitial glands, etc. Figure 10.3 columnar epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. Cells of this tissue are cuboidal or columnar. Free ends of cells are broad while narrow ends rest on the basement membrane. Free ends Free ends show hair like cilia. Function, to create a movement of materials and prevent entry of foreign particles in the trachea. Push the ovum through oviduct. It is found in inner lining of buccal cavity of frog, nasal cavity, trachea, oviduct of vertebrates, etc. Glandular epithelium. Here the cells may be columnar, cuboidal, and pyramidal in shape. Nucleus is large and situated towards the base. Secretory granules are present in the cytoplasm. The glands may be unicellular, globular, globulate cells of intestine, or multicellular salivary gland, depending on the number of cells. The glands can be classified as duct bearing glands, exocrine glands, and ductless glands, endocrine glands. Glandular epithelium, figure 10.5. Exocrine glands pour their secretions at specific sites, example salivary glands, sweat glands, etc. Endocrine glands stream, example thyroid glands, pituitary glands, etc. Function, secrete the mucus that trap the dust particles, lubricates the inner surface of respiratory and digestive tracts, secretion of enzymes and hormones. A sensory epithelial tissue. It is composed of modified form of columnar cells and elongated neurosensory cells. Sensory hairs are present at the free end of the cell. Functions. It perceives the external as well as internal stimuli. These are found in nose, olfactory, ear, auditory hair cells, eye, photoreceptors. Figure 10.6 sensory epithelium. Germinal epithelium. Cells of this epithelium divide meiotically to produce haploid gametes. Example, lining of seminiferous tubules, inner lining of ovary, compound epithelium. Stratified epithelium, transitional epithelium. Cell junctions. The epithelial cells are composed as each other internally as well as to go basement membrane by junctional complexes called cell junctions. Tight junction, hemidesmos, desmosomes, gap junctions, adherence junctions. Connective tissue. It is most widely spread tissue in the body. It binds, supports, and provides strength to other body tissues and organs. It consists of variety of cells and fibers. These are embedded in the abundant intercellular substance called matrix. Now, the connective tissue protects the vital organs of the body. It is highly vascular except cartilage. It acts as a packing material and also helps in healing processes. Connective tissue is classified on the basis of matrix present as connective tissue paper, supporting connective tissue and fluid per connective tissue. The connective tissue proper is further classified as loose connective tissue, example alveolar connective tissue, and adipose tissue, and dense connective tissue, example like ligament and tendon. Supporting connective tissue, also called skeletal tissue, includes cartilage and bone. Fluid connective tissue includes blood and lymph. Connective tissue paper proper. Loose connective tissue. Matrix of loose connective tissue is semi-solid, jelly-like, viscous matter made up of gelatin. Areolar tissue, air pockets. Matrix of this tissue contains two types of fibers, namely white fibers and yellow fibers. White fibers are made up of collagen. They give tensile strength to the tissue. Yellow fibers are made up of elastin and are elastic in nature. And the tissue also contains four different types of cells. Fibroblasts, the large flat cells having branching processes. They produce fibers as well as polysaccharides that form the ground substance or matrix of the tissue. Mast cells are oval cells that secrete heparin and histamine. Macrophages are amoeboid phagocytic cells. Fat cells, also called adipocytes, have eccentric nucleus. Now, these cells store fat. This tissue acts as packing material, helps in the healing processes, and connects different organs or layers of tissues that is found under the skin, between nuclear muscles, bones, around organs, blood vessels, and peritoneum. Adipose tissue, adipo fat. In this tissue, large number of adipocytes are present. Cells are rounded or polygonal. Nucleus is shift as to primary periphery, because fats are stored in the cell or in the form of droplets. Matrix is less and fibers and blood vessels are few in number. Figure 10.10. Adipose tissue. And there are two types of adipose tissue. While the adipose tissue appears opaque due to presence of large number of adipocytes, now it is commonly seen in adults. Brown adipose tissue is reddish brown in color due to presence of a large number of blood vessels. Function: adipose tissue is a good insulator, acts as a shock absorber and a good source of energy because it stores fat. And the tissue is found in cell and palm region as well as around or organs like kidney. Dense connective tissue. Then this tissue fibers and fibroblasts are compactly arranged. Now there are two types, namely dense regular and dense irregular tissue. In dense regular connective tissue, collagen fibers are arranged in parallel manner. Now two major examples of this tissue are tendons and ligaments. Tendons connect skeletal muscles to bones to give tensile strength to the tissue. Tendons contain bundles of white fibers. Example: Achilles tendon, the hamstring tendon. Ligaments are made up of elastic or yellow fibers arranged in a regular pattern. These fibers make ligaments elastic. They are present at joints. They prevent dislocation of bones. In dense irregular connective tissue, fibers and fibroblasts are not arranged in orderly manner. In this tissue is found in dermis of skin. Supporting connective tissue, it is characterized by presence of hard matrix It is classified into two types of cartilage and bones. Cartilage, this is a pliable, weight tough tissue. It forms endoskeleton of cartilaginous fishes like shark. It is widely distributed in vertebrates and vertebrate animals. In cartilage, an abundant matrix is delimited by a sheath of collagenous fibers called perichondrium. Matrix is called a chondrium. Just below the perichondrium, mature cartilage forming cells called chondroblasts are present. Chondroblasts are mature and get converted into chondrocytes. Chondrocytes are seen scattered in the matrix. They are enclosed in the lacuna of each lacuna contains 2.8 chondrocytes. Based upon the type of matrix, there are four types of cartilage as explained below. Hyaline cartilage, hyaline glass-like. In this type of cartilage, perichondrium is present. Matrix is bluish, white and gel-like. Very fine collagen fibers are chondrocytes are present. Hyaline cartilage is elastic and compressible in nature. It acts as a good shock absorber as well as provide a flexibility. It reduces friction. It is found at the end of the long bones, epiglottis, trachea, ribs, larynx, and hyoid. Figure 10.12 hyaline cartilage. Elastic cartilage. In elastic cartilage, perichondrium is present. Matrix contain elastic fibers. Chondrocytes are few in number. It gives support and maintains shape of the body part. It is found in earlobe, tip of nose, etc. Figure 10.13 elastic cartilage. Fibrocartilage. Perichondrium is present in fibrocartilage. The matrix contains bundles of collagen fibers and few chondrocytes and scattered in fibers. Fibrocartilage is present is most rigid cartilage. Now it maintains position of vertebrae. Invertebral discs are made up of fibrocartilage. Now it is also found at pubic symphysis. At figure 10.14, white fibrous cartilage. Calcified cartilage. This type of cartilage becomes rigid due to deposition of salts in the matrix. Now, this reduces flexibility of joints in old age. Example, head of long bones. Bone. Bone is characterized by hard matrix called osine. Osine is made up of mineral salt hydroxyapatite. Outer crust tough membrane called a periosteum encloses of the matrix. The blood vessels and nerves pierce through periosteum. The matrix is arranged in the form of concentric layers called lamellae. Now each lamella contains fluid-filled cavities called lacuna. Fine canals that radiate from each lacuna are called corneliculi. The corneliculi of adjacent lamellae connect with each other as they traverse through the matrix. In the lacuna, there are osteoblasts, active bone cells, and osteocytes, and then the inactive bone cells and osteoclasts are present. Mammalian bone shows a peculiar Haversian system. Haversian canal encloses an artery, a vein, and nerves. Observe figure 10.15 to understand Haversian system. According to presence of matrix, there are two types of bones present in human body. In spongy bones, Haversian system is absent. Reticular matrix is arranged in the form of trabeculae. It contains red bone marrow. In compact bones matrix shows Haverson system without any space between lamellae. Figure 10.15 bone detailed structure. Fluid connective tissue vascular. Blood and lymph are fluid connective tissue present in the body of an animal. You will study these tissues in details in chapter circulation in class 12. Muscular tissue. The cells of this tissue are elongated and are called muscle fibers. Each muscle fiber is covered by a membrane sarcolemma. Cytoplasm of muscle cell is called sarcoplasma. Large number of contractile fibrils are called myofibrils are present in sarcoplasma. One depending one depending on the type. Myofibrils are made up of proteins, actin, and myosin. Muscle fibers contract and decrease in length on stimulation. Hence, this molecular tissue is known as contractile tissue. It is vascular tissue and is inverted by nerves too. Muscle cells contain large number of mitochondria. Types of muscular tissue. Skeletal muscles. These muscles are found attached to bones. The skeletal muscles consist of large number of fasciculi which are wrapped by connective tissue sheath called epimysium or fascia. Each individual fasciculus is covered by perimysium. Each fasciculus is turn consists of many muscle fibers called myofibrils. Figure 10.16 muscular tissue. Each muscle fiber is a syncytial fiber that contains several nuclei. The cell membranes called sarcolemma delimits the cytoplasm called sarcoplasma. Sarcoplasma contains large number of parallelly arranged myofibrils, hence nuclei get shifted to periphery. Each myofibril is made up of repeated functional units called sarcomeres. Each sarcomere has a dark band called anisotropic or A band in the center. In the center of A band is right area called H zone, Hansen's zone. Now in the center of H zone is M line. The A bands are made of myosin as well as actin. On the either side of bands that contain only actin, myosin are thick and dark colored, while actin filaments are thin and light colored. Adjacent light bands are separated by a Z line. Z Zwisens clay Claire's Cabin line. So dark and light bands of neighboring myofibrils corresponds with each other, hence the muscle gets a straightened appearance. Skeletal muscles show the quick and strong voluntary contractions. They bring about voluntary movements of body. You will study about working of skeletal muscles in the chapter movement and locomotion. Red and white muscles. Smooth or non-striated muscles. Now these muscles are present in the form of sheets or layers. Now each muscle cells is spindle shaped and fusiform. The fibers are unbranched, having single nucleus at the center. Sarcoplasma contains myofibrils. Myofibrils are made up of contractile proteins, actin, and myosin. Smooth muscles contain less myosin and more actin as compared to skeletal muscles. Striation are absent. These muscles undergo slow and sustained involuntary contractions. They are innervated by autonomous nervous system. Figure 10.17 smooth muscles. And these are found in the walls of visceral organs and blood vessels. These they are hence they are also called as visceral muscles. They may be arranged lengthwise, longitudinal muscles or around circumference, circular muscles of any organ. Cardiac muscles. Muscles of this tissue show characters of both striated and non-striated fibers. Sarcolemma is not distinct. Hence, uninuclear the muscle fibers appear to be multinuclear. Adjacent muscle fibers join together to give branched appearance to the tissue. Points of adhesion of muscle fibers are formed by transverse thickenings of sarcolemma called as intercalated muscle discs. Figure 10.18 cardiac muscles. These junctions at places allow cardiac muscles to contract as a unit, that is, it helps in a quick transfer of stimulus. The cardiac muscles are striated involuntary muscles. Some mammalian cardiac muscles are modified, are capable of generating impulse on their own. Hence, mammalian heart is a myogenic heart. In the some animals, the cardiac muscles need neural stimulus to initiate the contraction. Such a heart is called a neurogenic heart. Cardiac muscles form a myocardium of the heart wall. Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is composed of nerve cells or neurons and neuroglia. Neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Neuroglial cells are non-nervous supporting a non-nervous system. Neuroglial cells are non-nervous supporting cells that fill in the interneural space. The neuroglial cells are capable of regeneration and division, but neurons are not capable of regeneration because of lack of central intercellular matrix is absent in the neural tissue. Neuron is a matrix generating and impulse conducting unit. They bring about quick communication within the body. Neurons change action potential of their membrane on receiving any external stimulus. Now, this property of wave of electric impulse from dendron to axon, the processes of neuron. Now, this is called conductivity. A neuron is made up of cyton or cell body. It contains granular cytoplasm called a neuroplasm and centrally placed nucleus apparatus RER and granules called Nissels granule. They are made up of RNA. The cell body gives out two types of processes, namely dendron and axon. Dendrons are short branched called dendrites. They carry impulse towards cyton. An axon is single elongated cylindrical processes. The axon is bounded by axolemma. The protoplasm of the axon is axoplasma. It contains a large number of mitochondria and neurofibrils. Axon is enclosed in the fatty sheath called myelin sheath. Outer covering of myelin sheath neurolemma. Myelin sheath and neurolemma are parts of another cells called Schwann cells. Schwann cells shows nucleus at periphery. The myelin sheath is absent in the intervals along the axon, and the place is called node of Ranvier. The terminal arborization of an axon is called a telodendron. Based on their functions, neurons are classified into three types. Figure 10.19 structure of multipolar neurons. Afferent neuron, efferent neuron. afferent neuron. It carries impulses from sense organ to neural nervous system (CNS). Hence, it is also called a sensory neuron. It is found in dorsal root of the spinal cord. Efferent neuron. It carries impulses from CNS to effector organ. Hence, it is called as motor neuron. It is found in the ventral root of spinal cord. Interneurons are association neurons. These are located between sensory and motor neurons. These perform processing integration, motor integration of sensory impulses, and activate appropriate motor neuron now to generate motor impulse. Depending on the presence or absence of myelin sheath, neurons are classified into two types. Example, that is myelinated and non-myelinated nerve fiber. Myelinated and modulated nerve fibers have a insulating fatty layer called a myelin sheath around the axon. This makes the fiber appear the violet color. This sheath is secreted by Schwann cells. The sheath is not continuous. It is interrupted at nodes of Ranvier neurilema. Surrounds the axon. The impulse is conducted at the fastest rate in such nerve fibers because it jumps from one node to the next. Now, such transmission of impulse is called a solitary conduction. Myelin sheath prevents the loss of impulse during conduction. Cranial nerves of vertebrates are myelinated. Schwann cells of non-myelinated nerve fibers does not secrete the myelin sheath. These fibers are gray in color due to absence of fatty acid layer. Conduction of impulse in the non-myelinated fiber is slower as compared to myelinated nerve fibers. Nerves of autonomous nervous system are non-myelinated. Functional contact between axonal ends and dendrites of adjacent neurons is called synapse. You will learn about synapse in chapter control and coordination class 12. Figure 10.19 nervous tissue. Unipolar, monopolar neuron, bipolar neuron, multipolar neuron. Unipolar, monopolar. It has single processes originating from the cyton. Both axon and dendron arise from cyton at one point. They conduct impulses to central nervous system. Example, neurons or the dorsal roots ganglion of spinal nerve. Bipolar neurons. It has two processes: a single dendron, and axon are given off from opposite poles of the cyton. They bring about transmission of spatial senses like sight, smell, taste, bearing, hearing, etc. The example, neurons of retina of eye, olfactory epithelium, etc. Then multipolar neurons. A cyton is star shaped and gives out more than two processes. There is only one axon and remaining are dendrons. Axon initiates from the funnest shaped area called axon hillock. तर इथे आपला 10वा चॅप्टर संपवतो, जो की आपण पाहिला ॲनिमल टिश्यूचा. जर तुम्ही या चॅनलवरती नवीन आला असाल तर प्लीज या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करून ठेवा आणि तुमच्या मित्रांसहित शेअर करा. ॲनिमल टिश्यू महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा सिलेबस बायोलॉजीचा, तर तुम्हाला नंतर एकदा रिवाइज करून देते. जर तुम्हाला काही डोनेट्स करावंसं वाटत असेल आमच्या चॅनलला, राणा अकॅडमी या यूट्यूब चॅनलला, तर प्लीज तुम्ही ह्या अकाउंट नंबरवरती डोनेट करू शकता. अकाउंट नंबर आणि IFSC कोड दिलेला आहे, नाव पण दिलेलं आहे. आणि तुम्ही या अकाउंट नंबरवरती आम्हाला काही मदत करावीशी वाटत असेल तर तुम्ही डोनेट करू शकता. ॲनिमल टिश्यू 10वा चॅप्टर आहे. यामध्ये आपण सर्व कवरअप केलं आहे एकाच व्हिडिओमध्ये. ॲनिमल टिश्यू 10वा चॅप्टर बायोलॉजी 11th क्लासच्या बायोलॉजीचा हा चॅप्टर आहे ॲनिमल टिश्यू, जो आपण एकाच व्हिडिओमध्ये कवरअप केला आहे. आता जर तुम्हाला हा व्हिडिओ आवडला असेल तर प्लीज या व्हिडिओला लाईक करा, कमेंट करा तुम्हाला काय आवडत असेल तर. आणि तुम्हाला आमच्या चॅनलला काही डोनेट करावं असं वाटत असेल तर अकाउंट नंबर पण दिलेला आहे, IFSC कोड पण दिलेला आहे. प्लीज लाईक, शेअर अँड सबस्क्राईब. थँक्यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग.